Honey, come on over here, sugar buns. This machine just called me an asshole.
Hello, and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host, Smokey, and joining with me, as always, is my co-host, Booge.
Hello.
Oh, and joining with us is our co-hosts, Murda and Starfish.
Yo mama!
Hey!
Alright, and before we get into the review, I always give our 3 rules of our rating system. Our first rule is it must be a fraction of 5. 1 out of 5 means we hate it. 5 out of 5 means we love it. Rule number 2, if we want our money back, we give a good old Jeff Goldblum rating. And rule number 3, if we all agree that's doing the review that it deserves it, 6 out of 5, a God tier, then it will get a God tier. And today, we are reviewing Maximum Overdrive from 1986, directed and written by Stephen King.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The only movie that, if I'm not mistaken, that he has ever directed.
That is correct.
Yeah, and
Correct!
it's I'm not surprised. I've watched.
What did you say? Did you scream plot, Spooge? What did you scream?
I screamed correct.
Correct.
Oh, nice.
But yes.
All right. Well, we're just gonna hop right into the plot here. As is our format change, we're keeping with that. We're doing plot first. We'll hop into background a little bit later. So on July 19th, 1987.
Starfish. Pump the brakes a little bit. You a little too fast.
I stopped completely.
A little too fast. So sorry.
It's Maximum Overdrive. It's fitting.
You went. You came in strong. You came in.
Yeah.
Came in
Started
high.
speeding like a truck.
Like
Even
a
though the
Mack
trucks
truck.
in this movie are very slow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yes. Continue, please. Just say you were speaking a little bit fast.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, you just speak. You were speaking incredibly fast right there.
Oh, okay. On July 19th, 1987, as the Earth crosses the tail of a comet, previously inanimate machines suddenly spring to life. An ATM insults a customer who is Stephen King in cameo, and a drawbridge rises during heavy traffic, causing all vehicles upon the bridge to fall into the river or collide. Chaos sets in as machines of all kinds begin attacking humans worldwide. At the Dixie Boy truck stop just outside of Williamton, North Carolina, employee Duncan Keller is blinded after a gas pump sprays diesel in his eyes. An electric knife injures waitress Wanda June, and arcade machines in the back room electrocute a customer.
Oh, we gotta talk about that customer. The customer was somebody.
We already... Yeah, go ahead.
But before we do, we got Duncan Keller, and Duncan Keller is played by J.C. Quinn. We also have the inevitable Wanda June. Pretty sure I'm not saying that right. And that is played by Ellen McElduff. And then we have the arcade player, as he is called.
Yes. He's got one line in the movie. He screams, "Yo mama!"
Yep. He screams, "Yo mama." The cool thing about him is that he would join with ranks from other films that we've seen recently. The Lawnmower Man had Hank in it, and this movie's got Gus in it. That's
Yes.
right. It is Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
He has he's like infected every single IP in existence. He is in everything now. He's in Star Wars. He's in video games. I mean,
Yeah, he should be.
I mean, it's great.
I love
but
him
I
in
just
Star
can't
Wars.
like just. I can't escape this man. I can't get away
Why would you
from
want to? He's such a good
But
actor.
with all that he's done, this is his best role, right?
Yeah, I would
Oh,
say
yeah.
this
I don't know.
outshines Gus
He-
by quite a bit.
He must have a thing for playing roles that get killed off in like very extreme, explosive ways, because that is usually how he gets taken out.
I doubt he had a choice. He seemed like an extra in this one, but he had like the funnest extra things to do. Like he got to steal a bunch of cigarettes and coins. Got to yell "Yo mama" for some reason. That was before the machines took over, I think. Right? Didn't he just
I
yell
think
at
it was
him
like happening during.
during?
It was when the cigarettes are spilling out. I think first.
Yeah,
You got excited.
so hopping back to my actual notes here. Give me just 1 second. Let's see. We hop into Wanda June, which is Ellen McDuff. She's trying to make eggs. She suddenly gets attacked by a carving knife. Bill, who is Emilio Estevez, the
Our
leading man.
main hero.
Yep, he rushes
The
to her sides
hero.
and he smashes the machine with a hammer. Uh, we then go back to Duncan, who had been pumping gas for the Green Goblin truck, and it stopped pumping, although it's full. He pulls out the nozzle and gets sprayed in the eyes with diesel fuel. Then we go back to the arcade room inside the diner. The video game player is playing pinball, which is our John Carlo. And the machines all start going haywire. The coin machine's dumping all of its money, and the cigarette machine dumps all of its packs, and that's when he screams, Yo Mama, as he deftly collects all of them, and he's about to leave when he sees one game screen displaying a hypnotizing pattern. He goes under its spell, and he reaches out and touches the video game, touches the arcade cabinet, and he is promptly electrocuted to his death.
Which, I would that is that possible? Would would
So
it,
most
if
of this
a
movie-
arcade would if an arcade machine malfunctioned, would that be
So-
able to happen?
The
So,
logic
yes.
of this movie, I don't know.
Get Mythbusters on this.
All right, so
I mean,
so
I'm-
check. So
it's like
so
the
check-
only
so-
death
so-
that I
so-
don't find plausible. I just want to finish that. I just wanted to finish that.
Oh my god.
Anyways, yeah, it's super possible because the Dixie is a diner and truck stop. Because it's a truck stop, they probably have like some form of repairs and or battery charging for the trucks, which would mean that it would be running like at bare minimum commercial grade electricity, if not industrial grade electricity. And because of that, our houses only have 120 volts, so like you're not like if it was an arcade cabinet that's like at your house and you touched it and it was like, you know, was short circuiting and stuff, and you touched it and it shocked you, you'd be able, like, you might get shocked, but you'd be able to let go of it. Commercial grade, which is 240 volts, you would touch it and you'd either you would clench up on it, and you would need someone to pull you off of it, or else you just keep getting electrocuted. And then industrial grade
But-
electricity, which varies, is even higher, and so like it would be extreme.
I
Also,
know that it's a,
there are metal rings on the buttons and on the joysticks, and the joystick itself is metal with a plastic top. If you touched any of those metal parts, which he did, you'd get shocked by it.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, how conductive would the cabinet actually be? Because if the cabinets are mostly plastic, then I think the cabinet would just start melting. If it started.
Plastic and particle board, yeah.
But yeah, if there's metal, then yeah, it definitely could happen. Because I
I was just at a
understand like the
pinball
circuitry
convention,
and
they're all
everything,
covered in metal.
but most of the time circuitry melts. It doesn't explode.
Not this time.
But yeah, it's very very good effect with what they do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Is
we're gonna
it?
talk about the
Is it a good
The-
effect?
The explosion?
It's
I
like
thought it was cool.
I thought it
I
was
mean,
a pretty
it's
good
like
explosion.
cartoon lightning coming through him.
I wasn't talking about him
Yeah.
getting electrocuted. I was talking about the arcade cabinet exploding.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, the also the God, why would you even have an electric knife? This just proves.
Maybe they've got to carve like turkey and ham.
It's good for carving turkey.
Like it's a diner.
Yep.
It's a North Carolina diner. I'm assuming they have some like country ham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely do.
Gotta have one of those slices.
Y'all don't use carving knives to cook eggs. Am I doing something wrong?
No, I think you got it.
To be honest, since I'm from the South, I do believe if somebody like tried to use a electric carving knife at Thanksgiving or
But this is
Christmas,
North
this would-
Carolina.
Yeah, well, North Carolina, they're a bunch of pussies.
Wow. Hard stance on North Carolina.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel
Take
about
that,
North
North
Carolina?
Both Carolinas suck. Okay, I can go on a tangent.
But-
You're always.
But do you
my-
prefer
my-
North or South? If you had to pick one.
South is better.
South, yeah, South is definitely better.
What about West Carolina?
Hardy hard. But fucking my main goddamn problem with the Carolinas, you're going to make a U-turn. You're going to the store? Oh, you best believe you're making a U-turn. You just going to the gas station? You're making a goddamn U-turn. You just want to go get some milk? Making a
They got
goddamn U-turn.
too many medians is what you're saying.
It's nothing but fucking you. Like everywhere you goddamn go, there's no avoiding the U-turn. It's there. It's like somehow they have designed their road systems to where you have to do a fucking U-turn, and it's aggravating as shit. I have been up and down the Carolinas because
maybe
I used to be a service technician, and that shit.
maybe this is what will stop the evil trucks because they can't be making U-turns all the time. It's too tight.
See, I can't believe this fucking move because it's happening in Carolina. It's like fucking trucks would have left the goddamn Carolinas as soon as they fucking could. It's like fuck these road systems. You think Atlanta is bad? Go to the goddamn Carolinas.
I don't think I've driven in them as an adult or as a kid. I wasn't driving as a kid.
Oh, love.
It is the most It is the fucking most aggravating shit.
Well, what about the trucks though? We're not to the trucks yet.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to the Green Goblin truck.
Yes, we did. Yes.
All right.
Like, there was
We
not
ready to hop
many-
back in?
Okay. Yes. Well. Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I was kind of I thought that was a nice segue to talk about the Green Goblin truck because there's not really much to talk about the Green Goblin truck. There's
I'd like.
no,
I mean,
there's
how
no
did
reason.
that?
There's no reason. They just got permit. They just Stephen King.
Are we gonna talk about that later?
They just
No, we're going to talk about it now.
Okay.
There's no reason. They just Stephen King went and got permission to use Green Goblin's likeness for the mask. No reason.
He just wanted it.
Nothing. yeah, I guess so. It's just it's confirmed that they did go to Marvel to get the permission to use Green Goblin's face for the mask. That's why it's got the purple hood on it. That's the only way that I knew that it was the Green Goblin. It's like,
Yes, I do
why?
know him to be a fan of like comics and Marvel, especially Marvel villains. There is no spoilers, but there is a big use of Doctor Doom imagery in the Fifth Dark Tower.
Yeah.
He likes Marvel villains.
so
the boss.
I love it. I'm just curious why. What was the thought
I think
process?
All of this movie, the answer to that question is going to be because he was on coke and drunk every single day. He is Stephen King, and Stephen King is like, so, just to say, I love Stephen King. He's my favorite author. I'm a huge nerd for Stephen King, but like he is a very stereotypical man in that he's like, I love beer, titties, gore, explosions. Like there doesn't have to be a reason. This
Oh shit! I
movie,
know why he used Green Goblin.
Why?
Yeah.
why?
I mean that chick keeps calling him hero, hero, hero. So why they gave him a villain? What give him a superhero villain? Give him a
Oh,
Marvel villain.
But
Yeah.
it's just I I I want to know Stephen King's specific reason why Green, like, is that like his
I
favorite
think
Spider-Man villain, or I
most
just
of it
want to
is just
know
because he
the
thought it was cool.
Yeah.
that's cool. I just want
Uh,
an interview from Stephen
Okay.
King saying the
Yeah, Nick,
logic.
I got one. I have one for you. I
Oh,
had
you
one
do?
this
Oh.
You
whole
found one?
time.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I could not find one for the fucking life of me. I watched interviews and everything, and he wouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, so the Green Goblin truck is the leader and boss of all of the mechanized trucks that are coming to life. So it's essentially the big boss. It is a Black Western Star, 48,000, and King decided to give it a face, specifically to make it more menacing. And he wanted it to specifically be the Green Goblin. Um, and it has been explained that it's because a toy truck, that is why it has to have a face. And then in my notes here I have parentheses cocaine logic parentheses.
So
So
yeah,
I mean,
that's
basically, yeah,
still
because he
Seems like
thought
good
it was
logic to me.
because he thought it was cool, and he was like really hype on coke, and I think people just kind of. I mean, he definitely didn't get everything he wanted in this movie, but they kind of like, I mean, he got to go wild.
I I feel he got most of what he wanted though. That is for sure because it is definitely
In a way.
if before I even knew Stephen King directed this, I had to ask my parents if it was made by Stephen King
We
because
do
it
have
was
some. We've got some notes, in all the production stuff. So yes and no of he got what he wanted. He didn't get a
Yeah,
lot.
in a way.
Like there's a lot of
I
things he wanted that he
I
actually
know
didn't
that
get.
he was fighting a certain producer from Synchronicities that produced another
Ooh.
film we just reviewed last a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
Yes, and we also have notes about that as well.
Yes, but yes, we can. I think we've gone off enough. We can hop back into the plot.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just wrap this plot up because it's like the simplest nonsensical plot that I mean it's very short.
All right. So the arcade player got electrocuted. That we now know is Gus. Um, Cook and paroled ex-convict Bill Robinson, which is Emilio Estevez, if I hadn't said so already, begins to suspect something is wrong. Meanwhile, we hop into a little league game, and a vending machine kills the coach by firing soda cans point blank at him. A driverless road roller flattens one of the fleeing children from the baseball game, but Duncan's son, Deke, manages to escape on his bicycle. We then hop to newlyweds Connie and Kurt. And Connie is Yeardley Smith, and Kurt is John Short. Um, they go to stop at a gas station where a tow truck tries to kill Kurt. But he and Connie escape in their car. Deke rides his bike through back to his town, and he sees humans and even some pets that were brutally killed by lawnmowers, chainsaws, electric hair dryers, pocket radios, RC cars, and a menacing ice cream truck.
Some of these,
Back
I'm
in-
wondering how they were able to manage to get their kills. Like the hair dryer wasn't like attached to her hair. It was like wrapped around her neck. So what
Yeah.
was the hair like? I understand if like the hair dryer started sucking and it like sucked her hair into it and bursted her hair into flames. That would have been much cool imagery. But
Yeah,
how
that
did it
that
get
would have
around her
made
neck?
that'd make more sense. But this movie, I mean,
That's the
well,
only
you
one
know,
that really stuck out to
yeah,
me was like
it wrapped
I
around.
want to know what
You know,
happened
yeah, that's
there.
the cord wrapped
you
around.
know, it wrapped
But
around. That's how it did it.
I mean, I have a whole thing of like what machines do what because like the trucks come to life, but none of the cars do. But just like other random machinery will, and some won't. So, I mean, if we're trying to apply any logic to this
Some
movie,
cars do.
it's just not going to happen.
Some cars
Yeah, some
do.
cars do, some cars don't. It
I
depends. I
I
think it's
wonder
based on how well you treated them. That's what I think,
maybe it's
personally.
just like a personality thing. It's got a living consciousness inside of it because of the comment.
Yeah.
Or is
So
it the comment? Ooh.
I don't know. It seems like it is.
I
Is it
Well,
aliens?
it
Isn't it
well, they
aliens?
I mean, I think the plot twist at the end
Yeah,
is that it
it
was
is.
aliens the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
okay.
Yeah, that's the
yeah
plot twist at the end. It's actually just aliens.
They're
yeah
just
Um,
using the comet as cover, apparently.
yeah
yeah.
they're trying to wipe out people as much of them as they can before they start the invasion.
Yeah, but then
Ah.
fucking a Russian quote unquote weather satellite with some nukes and
Which
laser
yeah, I don't know
cannon
why they couldn't take
fucking
take
handled the
control of
day.
that or like the nukes.
Um,
Hey, who knows?
Probably. So I think the cocaine
maybe
drunken logic.
maybe it's something to do with the diesel. Maybe
No.
I tried. I tried.
There's no applying logic to this movie.
Yeah. So meanwhile, at the Dixie Boy, a garbage truck kills Duncan. And a truck sporting a giant green goblin mask on its grill gets its first kill, sort of, by
It's
running
like it's
into
only
the
its
Bible
kill. It's like its only
salesman,
kill.
Camp Lowman. Camp Lowman is played by Christopher Murney.
What has he been in? I have no idea who he is.
Never seen him.
Um, let's
Has he
see
been in anything
here.
notable?
Let's see here. Christopher Murney.
He's been in Barton Fink.
We should have brought
Uh,
this up. That what's
the
her
Something
name
to
Taking of
watch
is
that.
Pelham.
Lisa Simpson. We didn't. We did not. We
Yes,
kind of
Yeardley
like
Smith.
yes.
Yep. Uh,
Connie.
He's also in. He is part of the voice actors for Red Dead Redemption. He's also part of the voice
What
actors for Neverwinter Nights
did he
2,
voice
Grand Theft
act?
Auto, Vice City Stories,
Did he voice act somebody
Land of
Pacific
the.
in Red Dead Redemption?
No, but he did in Red Dead Revolver. He was Jebediah Cole, and
I didn't
Matthias
play that one.
Lamprey. But yeah, he's
So
got
I most likely
he's
have heard his
generally a
voice.
side character. Yeah, he's
Yeah, most
generally a
likely
side
I've heard his
character.
voice because his
Yeah.
voice was very familiar. I want to say that. That's why I wanted to know if he's been in anything notable.
Um, yeah, he also plays Remy on MASH. For any of the MASH fans out there.
Okay.
I don't
Uh,
think I've ever seen a full episode.
But anyways, yep. So that is Christopher Murney there, who played the con man Bible salesman. Camp Loman is that guy's name. The Green Goblin sends his body flying into a ditch. Um, and a little bit later after that, several big rig trucks start to encircle the diner truck stop arcade.
Why
Uh,
do you think they only gave? Why do you think they only the Green Goblin truck only got one kill? And like one of the lamest kills.
He
of
gets
all of it.
another
He does.
another kill in the end.
yeah,
He kills somebody in the end.
Yeah, the dude who stole the diamond ring.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I could have swore the ice cream truck got him. Yeah,
But
yeah,
I do agree. Green Goblin truck needed more kills.
yeah. Oh, for being the main villain, he should have got pretty much all the kills. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I know that Marvel probably wouldn't have allowed it, but should have got some blood on the face. They didn't get no blood on the face, man.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in the Green Goblin truck the whole time because it was really cool, but it didn't really
I'm
do much.
assuming this is just my theory that Marvel gave them heavy restrictions on using it. Like they probably couldn't
Probably
get it bloody. They probably
Maybe
had to
maybe they
make
were
sure.
scared or they were more scared of damaging it.
Yeah,
that too because I'm
because it
sure it
stayed
was
on
pretty
set for a
expensive
while.
for that much fiberglass. That's kind of
I mean, they
expensive.
blow up a lot of trucks in this movie.
Yeah, they
Oh yeah.
do. Um, So, the big rigs are now encircling the diner slash truck stop slash arcade slash porn wall.
Kind of
Connie and
counterintuitive to their mission of getting gasoline. They want gasoline,
okay,
but they're wasting. They want gasoline, but they're wasting their gas.
yeah,
Oh, good. What's the logic there? What's the logic there, Mister Truck?
Oh, that no, there is none. There is none.
they gotta
You will
scare
have
him.
you'll be
They
full.
gotta scare him.
You would be full if you just stop moving. You would
Maybe
not be
if you
wasting your
do,
gas.
maybe if you do a bunch of cocaine, this movie will make sense.
Yeah, yeah, I assume as much.
You gotta do like 80s Stephen King level cocaine and
Oh,
drink at the
Oh,
same time, though.
This
that would
movie
kill
just
an
needed a
average
you can't even
person.
character.
get that. You can't
This
even get
movie
that
needed-
cocaine anymore.
Yeah,
This
no,
movie
you can't.
needed
That,
a
co-
character
that
like
cocaine
me.
don't exist.
Someone needs to
No,
be
it doesn't.
questioning these cars. No one's questioning the cars. They just do what the cars say.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Connie and Kurt are pursued by a car, and this car is in the shape of a semi truck. However, they outmaneuver it at a very sharp turn, causing it to crash off the side of the road as it explodes. This is one of the better explosion scenes, in my opinion, because it is a red truck with a flatbed behind it. There's nothing on the flatbed. Um, they swerve like at the last second on this like hillside and it's unable to do that and it just goes flying straight off the cliff face and it smashes down and it's smashing and it's like banging all around and stuff and then like as it stops moving the flatbed that has nothing on it just bursts into flames in this huge fireball explosion as if the flatbed was made out of lava. It's just great. um,
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Connie and Kurt arrive at the truck stop, and they see the situation of the trucks encircling them, encircling the diner. Um, but Kurt realizes that they could be a lot safer in the Dixie Boy than they are out in the open with all of these trucks that are trying to kill them. So they attempt to pass in between the gap of the trucks. However, their car is hit and then it flips over. Like it does a full on flip. Um, Keep in mind, these are all like early 80s, late 70s model vehicles. So they just, they get hit and they just like crumple. Like the metal just goes flying everywhere. Their cars were super dangerous back in the day. But anyways, so it flips over. This is where Bill and Brett Graham, which we haven't talked about yet. Um, Brett Graham is played by Laura Harrington. They bust out of the truck stop. Brett is a hitchhiker. Uh, they Bill and Brett rush to help them, and the trucks start attacking. However, that's when the owner of the Dixie Boy, Bubba Hendershot, uses an M72 Law rocket launcher.
So his name is Bubba
Yep.
because he
Even though he
keeps
call,
calling people
I know,
Bubba.
I know he calls everyone
Hey,
by Bubba, but
that
he's the
that
only
is
actual Bubba.
that's how he got the nickname Bubba, is because he calls
'Cause he
everybody
says
It's
Bubba.
not a
it-
nickname. That's his
Yeah.
actual name.
Well,
That's on
uh,
his birth certificate.
well, even so, if your name, if you're associated with Bubba, you call everybody Bubba. That's the law.
Start
Yeah.
calling everyone my name.
Hey, I don't make the
Hey,
rules.
Murda, will you grab that for me? What? So Bubba Hendershot uses the M72 Law rockets that he had stored in a bunker hidden underneath the diner to destroy, quote unquote, many of the trucks. In this first scene, he just destroys one. And he shoots it straight at four people who are actively running towards him, because there's a truck behind him, and they dodge at the last second to avoid getting hit by this rocket. He's
Which
very
is not
reckless with
is
these.
not addressed.
He
No,
knew.
it's not.
Everybody knew they would be safe. They was fine. This is America. This is America.
Yeah, they didn't know. They didn't even ever say anything. They're just like, well, I almost
Are
died.
you gonna really say any? Are you gonna really question the guy with the rocket launcher? Or are you just gonna
Yes.
be glad he didn't hit you with it?
I mean, they
You're
moved
caution,
on. They
Bubba.
moved on very quickly. Yeah.
We hop back over now to Deke, who is the kid from the baseball game. He's finally made it to the truck stop later in the evening, and he tries to enter the Dixie Boy via the sewers. However, it's obstructed by wire mesh covering the opening. In the night, the survivors that are camped out at the Dixie Boy hear Camp Loman screaming intensely in a ditch. So it's decided Bill and Kurt are to sneak out and to help him by climbing through the sewers. We hop back over to Deke, who has not had contact with the Dixie Boy people yet, but Deke finds Loman, puts his head to his chest, and thinks that he's dead. As he's walking away, we get our jump scare of the film, where we have this like muddy, battered corpse grab onto this child, and just like screams like to pull him up, pull him up, pull him up, and as
Which
Deke
I know
is
he's-
refusing and is freaked out.
I know Deke's just a child, but I definitely at this part was going, put his face back in the mud. Put his face back. Just put his face back in the mud.
I'm sure there's an alternate version where that happened.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. As Deke is freaking out, not really sure what to do, he's just trying to escape this corpse that is suddenly grabbed onto him. Bill and Kurt then rescue Deke. It's not really explained what, if anything, happens to Camp Loman. It's assumed they just leave him there to die because they get Deke, and a truck chases them back into the pipe. So
That
I'm
truck
guessing the
doesn't
truck
run him
probably ran
over?
over him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that truck ran over him.
It's not really, yeah, but it's not like shown explicitly, you know.
Yeah, but with the angle of how the truck had to go forward, it had to run him over, just to plow into the, because it was sideways. It didn't plow.
Yeah.
It was completely sideways.
Yeah.
So it drove into the ditch.
Yeah, so it smashed him then.
Oh, yeah.
So they get Deke back, and they Deke is like looking for his father Duncan, who we know has been murdered by trucks, but Deke does not know that, and Deke like is asking everyone like, well, where's my dad? Where's my
Takes
dad?
it very well.
And then Hendershot, which in this, people are kind of like on the fence about Hendershot. It's like, well, he's letting us stay here. He's got rocket launchers and stuff. Like, he's not a great guy, but he's not terrible. Hendershot just straight tells him like, oh yeah, your daddy done got scrubbed by them truck. And like everyone immediately hates him after that.
Which
think
I don't
they
understand
definitely
why.
already hated him. They already hated him.
They already hated
Yeah, I
him
mean,
before,
Bill
but-
did. Bill did certainly, but I don't think any of the truck
I mean,
drivers
y'all
really
had
cared.
to. You'd have to tell the kid You'd have to tell. I mean, what are they gonna do? Just not tell the kid?
Oh, they definitely had to
Oh,
tell the kid for sure.
It's just the
your daddy
manner that
just
he told
disappeared.
him.
Oh no, I might as well just get it. The kid, like I said earlier, he does take it very fucking well.
Yeah, that
He
was
does.
this was the least egregious thing that Bubba did.
Like he takes
Okay.
Deke takes the news. I'm going to assume it's because it's like very believable that it happened. It's like, well, fucking yeah, look at what's going on. I shouldn't be that shocked now, should I?
I mean, okay, so
Kids adapt quick.
Yeah.
Deke watched his whole baseball team get mowed down by soda cans.
And
Um,
steamroller.
One of
and
his friends
he
got hit by a steamroller.
watched his friend get horribly squished by a steamroller. So I don't, there's
Yep.
not a lot that's shocking Deke right now. I don't think he's still in shock.
Yeah. Um.
He's definitely gonna have
Yeah.
some life trauma to deal with.
Oh, everyone is.
Yeah. Definitely. Um. So we hop to the next morning. And we see a bulldozer approaching the Dixie Boy, and behind the bulldozer is a platform truck with a 50 caliber machine gun on top of it, and they're approaching the Dixie Boy. Um, the angered Hendershot uses the rocket launcher to blow up the bulldozer. And it's not effective, by the way. Like, it doesn't do much to the bulldozer really. And that is when the platform truck fires its 50 caliber machine gun into the building, killing several people. And this is
Can
the
we
first
say?
barrage.
Can we rightfully say it lit the place the fuck up?
It did.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There is one person that it didn't hit, and that I mean, there's a lot of people it didn't hit. Let me rephrase that. However, there's one outspoken lady who is not down, and she marches out there. And this is Wanda that marches out there and screams at them, "We made you! Don't you understand? We created you!" And then we get the second barrage of uh, machine gun fire into
I
the
have a
building.
I have a question. Is this like platform cart? Is this with the turret? Is this a real thing? Does this
Yes,
exist?
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it
Oh
does.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does.
This looks like something I would make on Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's just like
the
a pallet with wheels and a turret.
yeah, and
Yeah.
this one doesn't have a seat. I don't think I don't remember seeing a seat,
Yeah, it's
but
like a
most of them have.
cart.
It's
Yeah,
one that
most of
you're
them have
supposed
a
to pull.
seat.
It's one that you're
Um,
supposed to pull behind a car.
and so the one that's shown is an M274 half-ton 4x4 utility platform truck, and it's specifically designed to carry up to half a ton off-road. It was in the U.S. military from 1956 until the mid 80s.
I mean, if we're applying any logic here, it did not look like it had enough room for all the bullets that it had.
Oh no, I don't know how that thing was reloading. I have no clue.
Uh,
The logic we've
It
done
had a
explained.
belt.
It had
The
it had a
logic.
box. It's a belt fed gun.
Yeah, I saw its box, but I feel
Yeah,
like
there
it'd be a
was
bigger box. You need a bigger box for all these bullets.
it lit up the place pretty well a few times. Now
Mhm.
it should have ran out of ammo.
It lit up the place more than we even saw, as we will talk
I think
about
those
later.
boxes usually hold about 60.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it
Maybe
it
somewhere in
fired
there,
way over 60
60 to
bullets.
80.
It fired
Yeah,
Yeah.
way well over that. So it should have got reloaded somehow.
yeah.
Maybe we didn't see, but maybe there's like a slave human that's like right there, just reloading it.
A little goblin.
Yeah, he's got a goblin.
Yeah. So the cool thing about them too, of those platform things, is they can actually have the seat taken out, and then you can still drive it, but you can only drive it in reverse, which is pretty interesting. So you like drive while standing, essentially. Um, and then these were really popular in the military.
How do you drive it?
However, they got just like it's just a regular Jeep.
But
It's essentially all it is it's a Jeep frame, like the chassis frame,
like how do you
and a
steer
Jeep
it in
engine.
every like are you
It's got
does
a
it
steering wheel on it, dude.
but
Yeah, it had a little wheel on it. It
Yeah,
had
it
a
did
little
have a
steering
steering
wheel on it.
wheel.
okay.
Yeah, it's got a steering wheel. It's got
That'd be
its
that's
pedals and stuff.
I know that this is
Um,
just me being nitpicky, but that's got to be very uncomfortable standing and driving. That's got
oh
to
yeah,
be.
totally. But
I
that
don't
I
That's the
mean,
think.
military.
Yeah, I
That's
was about to
military.
say, not many things in the military are designed for comfort.
Even the
No,
most basic thing, basic task in the military is made to like just injure you for life later.
Also, just one last little note on these little platform Jeeps. They got phased out in the 80s whenever the HMMVV or the Humvee became available.
Nice.
Well, they all went rogue.
Yep.
Hey,
Um,
they took their jobs.
yep. Yeah, the Humvees took their jobs. That's true. Um, so after killing all of these people, and with the threat of the bulldozer looming over them to destroy their habitation, this little military truck with its 50 caliber machine gun then demands via Morse code, which Deke deciphers, that the humans pump the truck's diesel gas in
we got to
exchange for their
explain how
lives.
there's a important plot detail that not many people will realize here that they reveal about Deacon. He
It's
was
What?
just
in the
Deke. It's
scouts. He was in the scouts in the 80s. No,
yep,
we know.
yep.
Unfortunately,
I wasn't gonna go there.
hey,
As with our last film, there's very what's it called? There's very uh, I can't think of the word. Blatant signals that molestation happened.
I don't think he just mentioned that he was in the Boy
hey,
Scouts. Like,
Yeah, in
it,
the
it
80s.
was,
it's
yeah, but it
that's all
wasn't
you
like
gotta say.
implied
That
that he got
hey,
molested. He was
oh,
just like, "Oh, I just cut my
We all know
losses."
what
it,
Morse code
the,
is really code
We
for.
look, it's
we can assume,
unfortunately,
but I'm just okay. If we're comparing
the
it,
the
if we're
probability is
comparing it to the
95%.
Lawnmower Man scene,
The
no.
probability is 95% that it
I'm with you,
happened.
Murda. I don't see
If
it
we're
at
yeah,
all.
I understand what you're saying, but like if we're comparing it to that Lawnmower Man scene, he directly like it was indirectly implied that he got molested. This had no intention of him thinking like us thinking he got molested.
Well, unfortunately, Stephen King didn't know what they were doing in Scouts. Hopefully.
So thanks to last spring, Deke had learned Morse code in the Scouts, which allows him to understand what all the rhythmic honking is from the platform truck with the gun on it. And we find out that the humans must pump the truck's gas in exchange for their lives. However, the survivors soon realize that their own machines have now enslaved them. And Bill gets real tired. And
They
on
pump
when they're
gas for
switching
like
it,
12 hours.
Yeah,
yeah,
in the sun.
Yeah,
yep,
in the hot sun. So I understand the sun was probably Carolina too. It's probably the goddamn summer. But weren't they not switching out? Were they just having Bill
yeah.
pump through everything?
Yep, we get Hell's Bells playing while this is going on, and my suggestion to anyone who's seen this film and knows of this scene, I like to think all the trucks have their windows down and they're all just playing Hell's Bells in their radios,
Just to
like
piss off
simultaneously.
all the survivors even more.
Yep. Um, However, so Bill gets swapped out, and then on his second swap out, that's when Bill suggests to everyone that they can escape to a local island just off the coast, which has no motorized vehicles allowed. Um, while the crew is resting, Bill theorizes that the comet is actually a quote unquote broom operated by interstellar aliens that are using Earth's machines to destroy humanity or at least weaken them so that the aliens can now repopulate the Earth.
Which, do they even mention that part whatsoever? I do not remember Bill saying
Yes, they do.
anything. Okay.
Yep, Bill said
He
that.
did, but like, how would he know that?
He doesn't.
Yes.
It's a guess.
Hey,
Like,
Yeah.
conspiracy.
That's a very specific guess to be right
Shooting from
about.
the
He
hip.
is from
Shooting
the
from the hip.
south.
He's
a
just like,
conspiracy theorist.
man, he was right on it though.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, sometimes Mothman's real.
Yeah,
And
I would
the
say
aliens
most of the
from
time Mothman's real.
aliens from Signs probably should have like tried something like this instead of
Yeah, it would have been
jumping
smarter.
into a world of acid, basically.
So during the fueling operation on Bill's now third time that he's going to get swapped out, he tells the operator of the Goblin truck, when he says "run, just run," the guy keeps asking, "What do you mean?" And that's when they approach the platform truck. Bill tells the truck, in quite a way, that it's human business and he wouldn't understand.
Which,
To
okay.
which,
So it seems like the trucks understand what they're saying.
yeah,
Because
it does.
there's times where the machines and the trucks directly react to things that they've said. Why
Yeah.
You're
would
like the
you
machine gun growling.
why
Yeah,
would you say
yeah,
the plan right in front of I mean, it's fine because like it didn't mess anything up, but like why would you say the plan right by the machines? It's supposed to be secret.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it doesn't amount like that doesn't amount to anything. Everything goes fine.
Maybe
Like,
that was
but with the
part of. Maybe they were hoping that the machines were listening to
Maybe
catch
they
them off
read lips.
focus. What?
I like how they read lips. Explain that more, Spooge. How are they reading lips? Is it with their cute little eyes? By the way, just like of my own personal narrative, for any Starfish fans out there, all of these trucks are just so cute. They're literally the cutest ever with their little eyes, their little headlights, and their little grills, their little
it's
mouths.
because they
It's really
seem like
cute.
animals.
Yeah, they're adorable, and I love every single one of them.
I mean, I can't disagree with you, but they're killing folks, so I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah, because they're wild animals.
That makes
man.
them cuter.
Yeah, it does.
They do act like wild animals in this movie.
And they're not like scarily killing people. They're
We're
just
not-
kind of like, bam,
I'm just saying,
gotcha.
when I'm
Yeah.
watching,
When
when
I-
I'm
They
watching,
just try to
lot of-
tackle them.
A lot of the kills in this movie are the people's fault. Like,
when
yeah,
I'm-
the
most
truck,
of
the
them are.
trucks, the trucks are the ones doing the killing, and their intention is to kill. But like the humans don't react the way like you
Yeah,
should.
just go climb
when
a
you're about
tree.
to-
Go in
when
the
you're
forest,
about
climb
to
the
be
trees.
killed, and like trucks take so long to like start up and get
They-
speed.
they would definitely
People just stand there. People just stand there while the trucks like gain the
Yeah.
momentum to kill them. That happens a lot. They do the fucking Austin Powers thing
yeah.
where they
They
just like
do.
stand there and go no.
But I mean, like, unless
Yeah,
there's
it's great.
roving packs of ATVs in the forest, they should have just went into the forest.
Yeah,
Which
the
that
whole
is
time
such
I was going
good
like,
They have-
imagery.
You have
Go to the
deforestation
forest.
You have trucks that could cut down. There is
It's gonna take a
machinery
while
that
for
could
them
cut
to
the
get there,
trees
though.
down. Still,
It's gonna take a while
You
to
could get some
there.
deep forest, though.
I
You could get some
mean,
deep forest. And then you could, like, bomb them easy, too.
Yep.
there'd still
Well,
be you'd
Dig a
question-
hole.
You'd
Question-
Dig a
always
hole.
be in fear. You'd
They're
always
fucked.
be in fear.
If we're talking
You'd always
about
be in fear.
logic, which there's no point in talking about logic, but the logic, like if the aliens are trying to destroy people, why not just nuke everything?
They already showed
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
Because they want to repopulate the Earth.
planes
Can't
are
have all that
crashing
Okay.
radioactive
down.
fallout.
Okay, then don't
Okay.
then don't nuke people, but steal the planes and like non and nuke, like bomb people. They don't have to be
We saw
nuked.
a plane, but it was just kind of like woo, just
Yeah,
kind
we
of like
only
flying around.
but I'm just saying,
And
like
it
trucks
slammed
is
into a
gonna be on
bus.
the like not
Oh
as
yeah.
effective at wiping out the human race as other machines are going to be.
Yeah. And as far as like actual like effective plans on like if like let's say you wanted to take over a planet and the population there was hostile towards your efforts of decimating them or genociding them, one of the cool things that you could actually do is like if you had a really dense metal like like cobalt or something like that, which is super plentiful in asteroids. If you made giant cobalt rods and just dropped them from really, really high up in space, they would be more effective than nuclear weapons, and they would not create any radioactive fallout.
Ooh,
But
good to know.
my theory, since we've already mentioned the aliens, my theory is that these are just like a bunch of child aliens. These are a bunch of children playing trucks. You know how it's fun. You
Mm.
know, when you're playing
Maybe.
trucks, you definitely make them like
That's
splatter
why they're
people.
ditching. That's
Yeah.
why they're ditching the cars. They're like, nah, cars are boring. I want the big
Yeah,
trucks.
they want to
I
play
want the
trucks.
bulldozer.
And okay, so if I'm not doing any spoilers, but if any of you Stephen King people out there have read Under the Dome, you might think that my theory is, correct.
Got to be in the know.
You gotta be in the know.
Well, you got to be under the dome. It sounds like. Anyways, so Bill pops the machine gun and makes it spin around ridiculously. And while it's trying to regain control of it, he drops a grenade onto the platform truck, thus destroying it. Um, and then, with the gun no
Would a
longer
grenade do that though? Because
absolutely.
it would.
Those are very lightly armored platform trucks. That grenade would decimate that vehicle.
Mm,
Also,
yeah.
when I
Is a
said no,
pineapple
when I
grenade.
said no spoilers, I absolutely did spoil. So if we could put a little spoiler alert, right,
Spoil.
right before I say that shit, because that's a lie. It's a fucking lie. It is a spoiler.
I,
Oh,
I'm.
I think we have an insert for just that occasion.
Yeah, I'll have to find a good spoiler thing to use.
um, all right. So Bill hops back in, and Bill and Kurt lead the party out of the diner via the sewer hatch, which leads to the main road. And as the group all gets out of there, that's when all of the trucks and the bulldozer just start demolishing the truck stop, and it is just fantastic. It's huge giant trucks and a bulldozer just going ham on this like little diner and all these little gas station pumps, and it's just it's extensive and detailed, and it's great. And once they get done destroying it, it decides now that it must explode, as all things do in this film.
I mean,
um,
I feel that there would have been a gas line that started leaking, and with all the destruction going around, a good enough spark would have happened, and the fire would have got into the gas line that was leaking, and it could have caused an explosion. It could have.
Totally. And honestly, and we'll get into this more in my final thoughts, but I am like 100% like strapped in and ready for everything to explode once it's been touched for this film. However, we hop back with the crew. They're trying sneakily to make it to the docks. And as they're sneaking along, they go past a fast food uh, little place, and that is when one of the most hilarious scenes in the film for me happens. Um, which is
Deke becomes a
it
man.
starts
He
yeah
becomes a man.
Deke's coming of age tale. So Deke is with this group of survivors. They've they made it to this little fast food place. They stop and catch their breath. That's when the fast food speaker box lights up and the menu lights up, and it just starts saying, "Humans are here. Humans are here. Humans are here." Um, to which Deke responds, "This is for my father," and then he fires this like machine gun Uzi type of gun. It's kind of hard to see like exactly what it is, but he just like blasts at it for like a couple of seconds.
Which,
After
how he's
blasting,
holding it, he would have dislocated his shoulder if he
yeah,
shot that thing.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't have recoil. It's a recoilless machine gun for Deke that he's
Somehow
got.
he's got
Yeah,
some
but
like
he
superhuman fucking strength for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, as Deke is clearly the savior of the world. But he blasts up the fast food drive-through speaker, and he is immediately, after all this stuff, he is now traumatized AF. He's just like, "What have I done? I shot bullets out of this gun, and I destroyed this like vacant fast food speaker that was saying humans are here. I cannot live with myself anymore. I do not need a gun anymore." And he immediately hands his machine gun over to Brett, says, "I don't want it anymore," and is like just extremely traumatized by his response
I'm
to that.
going to assume he thought, what if that was a human that I just, what if that was like an actual living person that I just killed? I'm going to assume that's what went through that kid's head, and I'm going to say that's pretty mature for that kid. pretty mature for that kid to shoot an inanimate object and go, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
I like to interpret it that he was just like, that was loud and scary.
Yeah, that's what I interpreted it as.
Damn, guys. Why you gotta do the Deke like that? Y'all are doing the Deke bad.
Well, I guess like I can kind of
that-
relate to him, because like the first time that I shot like a 38 special revolver, which has a pretty good amount of recoil to it if you're only 8. Yeah, I shot that when I was 8, and I did not like that gun. I was like, no, I'm gonna stick to my little 22 pistol, because this is too much. Like, this hurts. So like maybe Stephen King was trying to go for that. I don't really know. But that's what happens, and it's really great. They're getting closer and closer to the dock every second of the film, and that is when
Robert Pronge comes around.
No.
I don't think that's his first name. I'm mixing it up with it. It's Robert Kokinski, and his friend was something Pronge. I don't know if it was Robert Pronge.
No, no, none of that.
It is. It's an ice cream truck.
Yeah, it is definitely an ice cream truck.
Mr. Softy, damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The Hitman.
So it's yep. So it's driving around, and that is when Kurt starts sees the ice cream truck driving, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get me one," and he starts shooting at it with his like weak ass like little bullets, and they're not really doing much. To which Brett responds by having a much higher caliber rifle, and is also start shooting at it, and it destroys the ice cream truck. It flips over and just like skids to a halt. Then we have the scene in which we learn that greed is bad. So they're sneaking along. They make it to the docks. Everyone's stoked. And that is when one trucker, whose name is Brad, and
He could have still been greedy. He just needed to be quicker about it.
Brad is played by Leon Rippey. He sees the hugest rock that he ever has, and he goes over to this dead lady and steals the ring off of her finger. And that is when he learns his lesson.
He slowly is ogling it as he's like slowly going up and like fully stops too. He's like,
I'm not gonna
gotta
lie.
put it
Yep.
I would be doing the same shit if I if I
You
found something
you
like that.
pocket
I
it.
mean,
You pocket it. You grab and pocket it quickly. That's what you do.
hey,
It's like
you're not,
Fallout. You
you,
just gotta.
you,
You
you
look at your loot
obviously,
later.
you've obviously never been poor enough to not
Hey,
understand.
real men loot during the battle. You're not looting during the battle on hardcore mode. Are you actually playing the game?
See, it's the same mistake. The very first guy the very first one of the very first people who died in their fucking Gus, when he should have just left with the cigarettes. But oh, gotta look at the shiny screen. Should have
Yeah,
just left.
you
Hey,
got
You get the
hey,
loot, you get out. You get
hypnotized.
the loot, you get out.
in his defense, the machine did some hypnotic trance bullshit that probably
Well,
hypnotized him to do what it did.
well, in defense of Giancarlo, yo mama.
Yes.
Um, the Green Goblin truck pursues the survivors, and it manages to very slowly kill the thief trucker Brad for stealing the ring, ostensibly. Um, after that kill, Bill sees the goblin truck and taunts it, and then he destroys the goblin truck with a direct hit from the LAW rocket. And
The
then the
law. Hit him with
survivors
the
all
fucking
hop
law.
hit them with the law. That's right. The survivors then all hop onto a sailboat and they sail away to safety. Afterwards, we get some screen text,
Yeah, we
which
get an exposition
explains
dump. It's like, wait,
that
what?
2 days later, a UFO was destroyed by a Soviet quote unquote weather satellite. And this particular satellite was equipped with Class 4 nuclear missiles and a laser cannon. 6 days later, Earth passes out of the comet's tail, and the survivors are still alive. And
If
that's
that
the end.
ending doesn't sum up cocaine, I don't know what ending would.
Yeah, I mean it is
I think
it's
I
something.
think it would have been better to leave out that explanation. I think it would have been cool just to have like, oh, they have their theory, like everyone has their own theories, like like of like what's
Yeah.
happening, and then they should have just left it like
Yeah, but
they should have just left it
I,
absurd and what the fuck.
again, Stephen King was hopped up on cocaine, so
He's
he's
like, ah,
like,
shit, I need to
you
explain.
gotta, I need nukes. I need laser cannons. I can't afford all
Yeah.
that. Oh fuck! I'll just put it in an exposition dump.
Yeah, totally. But anyways, we're all done with the plot here. We can hop into the background. Um, I have a quite a decent chunk of background. As mentioned previously, this is Stephen King's first and only directorial effort. It is based on the short story Trucks, which was first published in 1973 in Cavalier Magazine. Cavalier Magazine is an adult men's magazine. And then later, it was put into the Night Shift, which was a collection of the short stories. Um, by the later 80s, he was really tired of seeing adaptations of his work and their inaccuracies, and he decided it was time for him to do it himself. Um, from the the offset, it clearly started with good intentions. However, after it being released and all that kind of stuff, Stephen King has actually come out and said that this is supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek film, that is just supposed to be fun and nothing else, that it's a satire of horror and action films. And stated by King himself, he admits that he was out of his mind on cocaine and drunk like always. Um, However, this film did earn a Razzie nomination for both Emilio Estevez and King himself. For those unfamiliar with the Razzies, they're also known as the Golden Raspberries, and it was a award program designed to nominate and award those who had the worst film performances of the entire year, and it was started in 1981. Also, just a little extra
Which is,
information on the Golden Raspberries. The current actor with the most Razzie wins in their resume is Sylvester Stallone.
That makes
Damn.
sense.
Yeah,
And-
I think it should be fucking what's his name? I'm blanking out on his name. Steven Seagal. It should be Steven fucking Seagal.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not even worthy of a Razzie. He's like,
damn, man. Not even worthy of a Razzie. That's got to be a whole new league, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he just gets like
But
a
I gotta
turd.
say that's kind of this movie is not the best movie, but it doesn't deserve any Razzies. It
it
served
was
its
fun. I'd
purpose.
put it up there with like
So-
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's kind of got
Yeah,
that vibe.
So this movie itself did not earn a Razzie. Two people in this film were nominated for a Razzie, and they did not win. And that was for both Emilio Estevez and King. They
Yeah,
got
I'm saying
nominations, but
They don't
it's
deserve
not.
the nominate. They don't deserve to be associated with the Razzies. This is a pretty good.
I think it does.
I mean,
I guess it depends on how well it did.
Yeah,
It did very poorly. So this
I know. I understand.
Yeah, so this film, it had a budget of $9 million. Worldwide, it made $7.4 million. And just in the States, if you're looking at only the States sales, it got 3.5.
That is not good.
So
Not good.
they
It's a
did
fun
real
drive-in
bad there.
movie. I don't know. I wonder why. I mean, it's got some good deaths in it. I feel like I don't know.
I think
I feel
this
like they
is
should
too
have did well.
weird. it's too Stephen King.
It's the 80s,
or-
though. Everyone should be popped
It's-
up on cocaine and weird.
True, but it's
Fucking-
too Stephen King.
People are watching and applauding
So-
Revenge of the Nerds. That everyone's out of their goddamn mind.
Yes, but like just to like keep this, so here's a frame of reference for you. In 1986, we also have Little Shop of Horrors, Hoosiers, Top Gun, Platoon, Stand By Me, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Labyrinth, Aliens, Blue Velvet, The Name of the Rose, Highlander, Manhunter, The Color of Money, Heartbreak Ridge, Sid and Nancy, Death of an Angel. You know, there's a lot of films that just, I mean, it may be 86, but there is a lot of prime films coming out at this time.
Yeah, it's a hard year.
That's rough.
So currently, this movie's got a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, it's still considered a cult classic. King was and is very aware of how bad this film is. He also puts it down in like constantly whenever it's brought up, and he considers it a quote unquote moron movie. He's also said that it is the absolute worst adaptation of one of his stories.
I don't believe that. That's
Hey,
not true.
It's quoted, dude.
Hey,
It's a
at
direct
least
quote. He says it's
I'm-
the worst adaptation.
I'm glad he admits.
Pretty bad
even
adaptations.
he admits he can't adapt his own stories into film. At least he admits that it's just an impossible fucking task.
Are we sure that one with the fucking buttworm aliens wasn't the worst adaptation?
Dreamcatcher?
Dreamcatcher?
Oh, no, that no.
Are you saying that Dreamcatcher is better than this movie? Is a better adaptation?
Ooh, you see, you're gonna get mad
It's
at
better
me.
it's better in ways and it's worse in ways.
This
I
movie's
like-
so fun. There's a lot
If
of things I loved about it.
If I'm comparing the two, I enjoy Dreamcatcher slightly more than this. I'm glad you brought that.
I guess I'm a fucking moron. I guess this is a moron movie. I guess it's for me. For fucking moron me.
I mean, I
Thank
like
you,
this.
Stephen King.
I like this.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen King. I appreciate
But I
everything
just-
that you've ever done.
I just enjoy Dreamcatcher the movie better.
Um,
I didn't.
well, I mean that's I'm gonna say that's fair because I think that they're in two completely different realms. Some more interesting stuff here. Maximum Overdrive was neighboring Blue Velvet on set. So both of these films were being shot at the exact same time, relatively close to each other.
Mhm.
And both of these films, as Smokey mentioned earlier, were under the same producer, Dino De Laurentiis. Um, and for fans of our work here, you'll know that Dino De Laurentiis was just brought up not that long ago for Flash Gordon,
Hmm.
as he produced that film as well.
Oh.
Um, Originally, Maximum Overdrive was going to be produced by MGM Metro Goldwyn Mayer. However, Dino had some other ideas. He denied Maximum Overdrive to be produced by MGM, and the production care that it would have gotten under the Golden Lion was instead decided to be released under Dino's new company, DEG, or De Laurentiis Entertainment Group, a company which is a company formerly known as Embassy Pictures until De Laurentiis bought it. Um, Taking place alongside other movies under the DEG name. Um, a good chunk of films came out under DEG, which ostensibly all were produced by De Laurentiis, and that was Raw Deal with Schwarzenegger, the My Little Pony movie from 1986, the animated Transformers movie from the 80s, Manhunter, Blue Velvet is also produced by DEG, um, as well as Radioactive Dreams. The De Laurentiis Entertainment Group would make some other classics as well, such as King Kong Lives and The Evil Dead 2. However, in 1988, they were all set to produce and release Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but then they went broke and had to shut down. Which the irony comes full circle here because since they weren't able to release Bill and Ted's, it was instead produced by Orion Pictures, which would end up being owned by MGM.
Mhm. Hmm.
There is
So yeah,
as we mentioned, yeah, as I mean there's other stuff too, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if we need to wrap final thoughts.
I think we'll jump to final thoughts.
Oh, okay. Only thing I just want to say real quick is that
Yeah, we'll have some. Yeah.
ACDC did do all the music,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I did want to mention
that's specifically because Stephen King is a huge fan, and he actually held a meeting with them, and he point blank just asked them if they'd be interested in providing, quote, his movie about murderous machines and trucks, to which the group agreed.
I
Um,
mean, yeah.
I
King
that's I mean
King
ACDC is perfect for that.
Totally. And King also offered all of the band to do a cameo in the film, but they declined. However, it just in this man's opinion, being that the group is named after an electrical current and the theme of the film is that anything with electricity is going on a rampage, I think that it would have been super fitting if they would have uh actually made their cameo in this one.
Mhm.
Uh
Yeah, that
Later
would be
on,
cool.
after this movie released, they'd make an album called Who Made Who, which is the official soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. There is also
I
King.
I think we're gonna have to record final thoughts
Okay.
in a different so yeah,
In a different what?
in a
Like right
different
now?
site. Is Murder asleep?
I'm I'm guessing so.
Uh, no. She. I mean, she. Yeah, she's asleep.
Yeah, should then then should we should we pause here and do a part two?
Yeah, we could pause and do a part two. If
Yeah,
we
that's
just want to do final thoughts, and this, unless she could just add like, she could also just add a comment. I mean,
I mean, I think it would be
I don't know.
I think it would be better to just pause
I'm
here
down for whatever. Okay. If you
and pick back up.
also, if we want to just record later, and you could always splice it too. Whatever's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I'll splice them depending on how long the part 2 is. I'll either splice them together, or this will be the end of part 1.
Okay.
But yeah, it's because we should all be present with our
Yeah.
final thoughts.
No problem.
Agreed.
But yeah, if you've been listening this long, thank you. I'm not gonna do a full outro, but yeah, this will be a bye or a jump cut. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's a jump cut.
Shopping used to really depress me. I used to think if only I could keep to a diet. Then I heard about AIDS and tried them. AIDS helps you keep to a calorie-controlled diet. You don't eat so much at meals, and I didn't want fattening things. I enjoy shopping now because I can wear fashionable clothes. Thank goodness for AIDS.
And we're back from
And
the
Star-
commercial break.
Yeah, boy.
That was a long commercial.
Thank God for
Yeah.
AIDS.
Oh shit! Oh my god! How the fuck did you know? That's the commercial I'm gonna splice in.
Oh yeah.
Oh
He sensed it.
Oh,
I did.
we're two in sync.
All right. So we were talking about some of the fun things about this movie, of the production, Starfish. I think
before you took a nap.
before this commercial break, I think you mean.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah,
that
what are
you
you
fell
talking
asleep.
Oh.
Look,
But yeah, so
it's been a hard week.
it has. It's been a hard day's night. But I've been working like a dog, and as this dog knows, that there's actually some remakes to this film. Just one, actually. And that was in 1997. It was a made-for-TV movie called Trucks, which is the name of the short story as well. It's another live adaptation of the same story as Maximum Overdrive, but it doesn't have near as much 80s cheese, but it does have a lot of 90s awkwardness.
I mean, I guess you
Because
would say it's a remake of the story, not the Maximum Overdrive, though.
Right.
It's just another
Unfortunately-
adaptation of Trucks, which is what the story is called, is Trucks, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. So it was unsuccessful, and it was quickly forgotten. I didn't know about it until researching this film. And one of the reasons why it's thought that it really didn't leave much, if any, impact on pop culture, which is kind of opposite of this film. It tried to take a really serious approach and make it more dark and gritty, and it just did not fit very well. Which I think proves that sometimes having the just over the top ridiculousness, if you don't know which direction to take, that's maybe a better direction to take, is just to be over the top and carefree.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah. And then so in a similar vein to Flash Gordon, King actually wanted Bruce Springsteen to lead this film as Bill, specifically because in his coked out drunkenness, he wanted to see Bruce wage war against trucks, especially set to AC/DC just rocking in the background. He thought that this would be really awesome to see, quite the spectacle. To me, this is just more cocaine fueled idealism.
Yes, I mean,
As-
Can't say he's wrong.
No?
Yeah, he's not wrong. And Stephen King just historically really likes Bruce Springsteen. He models a lot of his characters after him.
Yeah.
He's just
I
The
a
lead
huge
in The
fan.
Stand.
I am glad we
He's
got.
definitely a Springsteen nerd.
I
Yeah,
have
he
to
is.
say I'm glad we got Emilio Estevez. He served the role really well, I believe.
Do we know if Bruce Springsteen would have done it? Like, was he ever even spoken to?
Uh, no, we don't. And I'll tell you why.
I don't think he
What?
would do it. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
he
I
would.
don't know.
I think that he I think that he might have, if the money was right. But so Stephen King, he approached Dino De Laurentiis, and this is again just showing that De Laurentiis has absolutely no concept of musical pop culture or anything like that. Because King pitched this idea to him, he was really excited. This is King's first time in the director chair, and he's like, like I am able to get who I want to be, like who I want to be in this film, and he's really stoked about it. And when he pitched it to Dino replied with Bruce who, which is and this
He's
is
doing
that's
that
a
on
direct
purpose.
quote.
He
That's
is
a
doing
direct
that.
quote.
He's being an asshole. He knows. He knows who
Maybe,
these fucking
maybe.
What
people
the
are.
fuck is a Pikachu?
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, the only reason why I think that he doesn't know anything is because his direct quote is when Stephen King asked him, he said, quote, Bruce who, which is the exact same thing almost that happened with Flash Gordon when the production team asked if they could use Queen's music. He said, quote, who are the Queens? Like he just doesn't like, maybe he just listens to classical, maybe he has no concept of like
It's
current
just
music.
wild. It's
I
just
think
wild
he's just
because
an asshole. He's just being like, what the fuck? Who the hell are they? Like, he knows who they are, but he's saying, who the fuck do you think they are? Like, to be in my kind of movie, kind of
it's
situation.
just wild because like these bands have like when he said these things, these bands had been doing things for like over a decade. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't
I mean,
just like
they're
some up and coming musician. Like Bruce Springsteen, I think maybe his first album was in like 73 or like early 70s. Like he
Yeah.
was already like a huge thing. And like same with Queen when when Flash Gordon came to being, like it was like already a decade of them just being like these monster rock. It's like
Yeah,
how
and I mean,
they are internationally known. I don't understand how you wouldn't know them.
yeah, I mean Bruce Springsteen's first album, which is Greetings from Asbury Park, was from 1973. So like,
Yeah,
he's
13
been
years.
around at this point. Yeah.
he is just being like he just doesn't like the music, and he's fucking being snobby. I hate people that do those remarks.
Yeah,
Why
he
not
he
Pink
sounds like a
Floyd?
dude.
He likes Pink Floyd though.
Yeah, he likes Pink
Yeah, like
Floyd.
if you know of Pink Floyd in that time, like how do you not know of Queen?
I mean,
don't understand this.
they had to have toured together.
Don't know if that's true, but I mean that's just in this. It's in the same
That
vein.
It's
that
okay.
would have
I
been
think he is
I mean,
just
it'd be sick.
being a dick.
that would have been a dream tour to go to, though, would it not be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he just like does not listen to music. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because like I will admit that like when I was like deep into the underground like local punk scene and that kind of stuff, and like local metal scene, like yeah, I knew a couple of big groups, but like there was some that I didn't know anything about like at all. And he could be like that, but he also, just because of his age and everything, he kind of strikes me as like, well, I listen to real music, Bach, Beethoven, Schubert, that kind of stuff.
I mean,
Like, that's
Floyd.
what he strikes
we
me
all
as. Yeah,
know
Pink
who Doja
Floyd.
Cat is. We all know who Doja Cat is, and I don't think is any of us like an advent listener of Doja Cat.
No.
Both in a couple
No.
songs.
I mean, but we know who we've heard of Doja Cat, right? We all have heard of
Yeah.
Doja Cat. I mean,
Yeah,
It's like the whole
same
like
thing.
Taylor
Like,
Swift thing. Like we all know Taylor Swift. We don't necessarily listen to her music, but we know
I
who that
don't
is.
see like these big idols of the 80s and you don't know who the fuck they are. Like, it just doesn't it doesn't add up. There's some
It's not
Yeah,
adding up, Dino.
there's
So,
some math here that I don't like.
so just gonna rewind just a tiny little bit. So Pink Floyd did not specifically ever tour with Queen. However, Brian did jam with David Gilmour. And Tony Iommi's on the jam too. There's also published photos of Freddie and David Gilmour from the evening of Freddie's last public performance. But at that point in time,
you knew if
yeah,
you knew Pink Floyd, you
yeah.
knew Queen.
Yeah, exactly. And so this kind of leads us back into De Laurentiis, right? So we talked earlier about how De Laurentiis had got this new production thing and all that stuff. And he was definitely riding high in the mid to late 80s. And so he didn't really think he could ever do wrong because we got King getting shot down for Bruce Springsteen, and that's because De Laurentiis already had his own ideas about the lead of this film. He wanted to see the rising star Emilio Estevez because he had seen him recently in The Breakfast Club, and that's it. Same way we got Flash Gordon. He saw some guy on the dating game show and was like, "Oh, that's my guy for this movie," and
I mean,
I don't know.
That might have been the one decision that I would agreed with him on.
I mean,
Amelia Estevez
mind...
did great in this, I believe. He played the role like he was supposed to.
He was alright.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not
he did
sure
good.
if I agree with that, that he's playing it like he's supposed to, because it seems like a lot of actors in this movie are playing it for comedy, and Emilio Estevez is playing it straight. So it's again one of those where
I
the
always thought he was supposed to be
tones-
the straight man of the whole movie, though.
I just think the tones again are not matching up, which this Dino De Laurentiis has a lot of trouble with in his movies. It seems having
Yeah.
everybody on the same page about the tone of the film.
Yeah,
He
that's
seems to-
definitely accurate.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy Emilio Estevez. That's who that's who it is, and that's the iconic,
Yeah,
role. But
I wanna say
would it have
the
been fun
producer-
seeing Springsteen do it? Fuck yeah, that'd have been awesome.
I want to say the producer, he seems to not want anybody to know his vision. He has a specific art style in his head, but he can't let that secret go away. So he's desperately holding
Or
it
he
to his
just
chest.
can't accept when other people differ in opinion of how it should be.
Yeah, he's got major tunnel vision. And
Yes.
nothing's gonna break that tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I bet they got Emilio a lot cheaper than they would have gotten Springsteen.
I don't know. It was
Absolutely.
it was after Breakfast Club. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
but wasn't that
about
his
that.
biggest
So-
hit so far?
So Emilio Estevez, for him specifically, we have him in The Outsiders as Two-Bit Matthews. We have him in Repo Man. We have him in The Breakfast Club, and we have him in St. Elmo's Fire. And then we have That Was Then, This Is Now. And then we have a music video for St. Elmo's Fire that he's in. And then we have Maximum Overdrive. So, and he has worked before this, but it's super small parts. So I think, he was probably able to get a decent deal, but it was probably more in line with the budget of this film.
Yeah.
I think the budget was $9 million.
And some actors they will read a script like Nicolas Cage, and it don't matter what the budget is, they'll just go for it, because that's what Nicolas Cage did with Willy Wonderland. He's add a couple of more reptiles and you got me.
Yeah,
There's
they
a
had
reason
a-
behind that.
Yeah, and I mean they had
They've been losing
a
a bunch
$9
of money.
million. Yeah, they did have a $9 million budget for this film, but I'm sure that probably, I mean, in 80s money, 1986 money, he probably got $750,000 to do this role.
Mhm.
That's what I would imagine.
I mean, that's not bad.
I don't know
For us-
specifically,
for,
but
for
that's just what
us,
I
that
would
ain't
imagine.
bad.
Something to make him like actually care to want to do it. Um, Anyways, so he, De Laurentiis was stoked on Emilio Estevez, and this was pretty early on into the production, and King got pretty sour after this, and I don't know specifically because I wasn't there, but just from like my personal understanding of De Laurentiis and like of King, um, I could see him getting like sour, deciding to drink and do some more blow, and just propel like this whole interaction of him. Oh, it's my first time in the director's chair, and immediately doesn't get what he wants, doesn't even consider it like at all, or like, oh well, maybe we could ask him, or like see, doesn't get any of that. I can see King going, all right, well, fuck you, I'm not going to do a good movie now, I'm just going to fuck around.
I
And
also think just from, I mean, again, we don't know these people, but De Laurentiis just kind of seems like afraid to be addictable. What's it like? He'll just be, and like Stephen King, as like blown out on coke and alcohol as he was, from all accounts, he's still a very nice person.
yeah,
I could see him being graded by De Laurentiis's attitude and things.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's the other thing too, is that like him, especially him, like at this point, he's had like a good chunk of his films be made into successes, or a good chunk of his books be made into successes, and so he's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
But he's
I
never
want to do it my
pleased.
way,
He's never pleased with. It's
and
never the way he wants it done, and he's never pleased with the way it's ever done. That is one big nitpick that he always has. It's always not right, and then
yeah.
he
I
does it
think. Well,
right,
I think
and oh, look at what we get.
especially at that time, because I think he did the real prestige adaptations of his books like hadn't really hit yet. Like Stand by Me, I think was the first. Well, okay, The Shining in the '70s was the
yeah,
best one, but he didn't like it because it was so far off of the book. It was,
yeah,
critically acclaimed. Like everybody loved that movie, but he didn't. But then I think
I
it
love The
wasn't
Shining.
until Stand by Me came out that he was on top of the adaptation game, because then it was like Misery, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile were all really good too. So
yeah, yeah. The Green
I think
Mile's
up until
excellent.
then, besides The Shining, and I think people Pet Cemetery, though I have thoughts on it. That's for a different time. Um,
Yeah, I mean, Pet Cemetery's after this though.
oh, is it okay?
It's 89. I just checked because that's what I
Okay.
was thinking too.
Then yeah, I
Um,
think there were like a lot of very failed adaptations up until this point, besides Shining.
yeah, definitely. Um, but anyways, he
Oh,
did.
Carrie too. I had to say
Yep,
I had
there's
to
also
mention
Oh
Carrie.
Carrie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie
Oh
was
yeah,
actually really
Carrie's
good.
excellent. Um, but yeah. So the only thing I really have left for the background on this one is the tagline of the film. I haven't really included these so far for my background research, but this one was just too good to pass up, because the tagline of this movie, what was on all the posters, is "The day that horror went into overdrive." And it's just excellent because this film to me is like not scary in the least. Like, it is non-stop action film with like slow moving trucks for like the entire film pretty much, and it's just hilarious.
it's almost like the director was on cocaine or something.
Yeah,
Something.
seems like it.
But yeah, is that it? Can are we all
We
ready
can
for
hop in.
final thought?
Are we
Yep.
final thoughting?
Yep.
Who's going first?
All
I
right,
got
who
my
wants to
rating.
start? Go for it.
I'll go ahead and start this time.
Okay.
So as our constant listeners may know at this point, I'm pretty much lower than everybody by a good chunk generally. However, for me, this was the right combination of cute giant trucks um, and action. So for me, this film's a 4 out of 5. This is my first 4 that I'm giving out, and that's for a couple of different reasons. The scenes of explosions and cars is just like absolute wanted destruction, and I just love it. Like, people who know me in my personal life, like I like automobiles. I like anything that like makes you move and stuff. And I get really attached to them, and I like see the little like animals or like people that they are, and the way that these trucks behave are just like totally in like they act like animals, like but like kind animals, sort of like they're dangerous, but like they still want you to help them. And I thought that was cute. For me, also this is a coke filled fun ride from start to finish. Like you come in on some block of text, some wild shit goes down, you leave on some block of text. Um, the cheese in this movie is just like, ah man, it's good cheese in this film. For some fans of maybe people who really like cheddar aren't a big fan of brie, maybe stay away from this film. Um, there's also a pornographic wall that was not mentioned at any point in time until now. But in the gas station, there's a wall just like filled with cutouts from dirty magazines, which is cool because it's like that's what you would imagine would be at a truck stop, and then also like that is also where King got his start, was like writing into primarily men's adult magazines. Um, there are also children's death in this film. And for anyone that's brave enough to actually kill children on camera,
Nice.
that gets a star for me. Just because, like, so many, like, I enjoy it when you realize no one is safe, and like killing a child, I think is exemplary of that. Um, overall, like, just to reiterate one more time, it is a terrible film, but it does, for me at least, hit that golden spot of you turning and becoming so bad that it actually gets good. um, I'm also have become a more recent fan of King. I got into him probably about like 2-3 years ago. um, and so for me, I have a phrase, and that phrase is called McDonald's. So like you watch a show that you know is bad, that you know is stupid, but you like watching it anyway. That's a McDonald's show. You read a book that you know is like it's not like expanding your mind. It's not asking any big questions. That's a McDonald's book. So for me, this is a McDonald's film. I like it a lot, but like it's not great. Um,
I
it,
I need to add that's what Stephen King calls his own work is McDonald's.
Oh, does he? Okay, so
Yes.
maybe I ripped that off of him. But anyways, and then last little bit here is that for me, uh, there are Stephen King books that I believe to make him a modern master. He is an incredibly talented writer, and even on his work that's like not considered like super high acclaim or anything like that. Um, I still think that like once you start, like it keeps you turning the pages and wanting to know what's happening. And then in his works that are like the super high accolades, it's he's so prolific, and for him to like be the director of this film, just that alone gives it a star for me as well. So pushed out a 4 out of 5 here.
All right.
Nice.
I can go next. I feel it'll be fitting if I go next because my rating is exactly the same as Starfish's. It's a 4 out of 5. It
Yeah, let's
strong.
go, baby.
It's got a strong nostalgia connection with this one. I have watched this movie so many times to the point where I don't really have to watch it. I know each what scene is gonna happen, and it's just something that I have to watch. Not every year, but pretty often. It's I'm a I'm not a big of a Stephen King fan because of some a conversation that Stephen King has forced me to have to talk about, which I'm not getting into here, but my love for him has been hampered a little bit, but it's still there. I still love it when he does great, and I believe that even though this is not a good movie, for this being his first directing job, he did phenomenal for it. I wish he did more because I feel he could improve over time. I feel this was not his lowest point, but this was a good starting point, and it could have blossomed into something a lot more fucking entertaining and a lot more artistful.
Oh yeah. I mean, if he had kept going, I think he would have only gotten better because this is the last year that he really. I mean, the next year is when he actually got sober. So like maybe Sober King would have done some better directing.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
It's it's just and everything about the movie. It just comes to it. There's not a single detail. There's not a single actor that I'm like, that shouldn't be in this movie. That shouldn't be in this. I'm never like that. I'm always that it's perfect. It's great. All the kills, all of them are practical effects, and all of them are phenomenal. There's not a single kill except for the Bible salesman that I would have changed. I would have done the Bible salesman a little more gorier with the Green Goblin truck. Another point, fucking Spider-Man is my favorite fucking hero. Green Goblin is my second favorite villain besides Mysterio, so I'm fucking seeing Green Goblin the whole goddamn time. It's just then I'm not the hugest fan of AC/DC, but they're not a bad band to me, in my opinion. I will listen to their music, and the music serves its purpose for this. I believe the soundtrack is Maximum Overdrive, and that's just great. But yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I will go next. I also have the same rating. I have a 4 out of 5. I mean, again, like we said, this isn't a good movie, but it's so wild that it's fun. I would have given it a 5 out of 5 if it really leaned into being fully a comedy, which I think would have been more successful. If they had just fully leaned in and said, "This is a horror comedy," I think it would have been more successful, and it would have gotten another star for me. I mean, there's not a moment of the movie that's not entertaining. Something's always happening. There's always something to laugh at or like scream at, like when you see a child getting rolled over, which is awful, but I mean, it's at least the gore is campy enough to where it's still fun. If the gore was more realistic, it might not have been as fun. I do know that there were so many cutscenes that this movie was going to get an X rating if King got all the gory scenes that he wanted. And he actually showed it to the uncut version. He showed it to his friend George A. Romero, and it made Romero sick. It was so
Sick.
gory.
Man,
Yeah, I wanna see that.
That's
I wanna
fucking
see
I have
that.
to
dope.
see that.
Release the gore cut.
Yes,
Release
release
the
the
unrated
X-rated cut. Yes.
Oh man, that would be
Um,
great.
so there was probably more child deaths. There was probably just more very brutal, detailed deaths, and that's probably where we see some of the deaths that we're like, oh, that wasn't as crazy as some of the other ones. Like they were probably cut, like scenes of them. Um, but anyway, I mean, yeah, this movie is just super fun. I think you need to go in watching this as a very gory comedy to get that enjoyment out of it. Don't
Yep.
really expect to be spooked or anything like
Yeah.
that. Don't expect anything to make sense because it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. There's no logic. There's no
No.
rules. But it's just a fun Maximum Overdrive. It's just a fun time, and it's just going at all cylinders at the whole time. So I'm giving it a
Nice.
4/5.
All right.
Nice.
So Spooge,
And that leaves Spooge.
have we won the
Oh,
lottery?
I guess
Have we
I think
won?
we have. We got 4 out of
4
5.
Oh,
fours.
ding, 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 ding.
Boy!
Yeah.
What do we win?
I have no
Nothing.
goddamn clue.
This is
Nothing.
life.
Just kidding. We actually win
But
another
I-
campy movie.
I didn't
Ooh.
expect us to come into sync so early.
It happened. But yeah,
Well-
pretty much. Mhm.
No, go ahead, Spooge.
You've got the floor, Spooge.
Yeah, this is your final
I mean,
thoughts.
pretty much what everyone has said. I mean, killing kids definitely gives you a full point.
Yeah, boy.
Because
Yeah,
it
dude.
shows you got the balls. I like the balls.
Yeah, it's true.
And
No one is
I mean,
safe.
the story of the production's real fun. I mean, just imagining Stephen King running around, going crazy, getting mad. I'd like to be a fly in the wall of that process of him directing.
Is that your
um,
full final thought?
Um, uh, fuck. Yeah.
Hey,
Also, before we wrap it up, since that commercial break, I think one thing I wanted to say that we missed about the production of this is that when they first screened this movie, Stephen King rode in on his motorcycle to the screening all like dirty and disheveled, and they wouldn't let him in because they didn't think he was a part of it. And he
Oh,
had to convince them that he directed this movie, and like someone had to come out and be like, yes, that's Stephen King, like he made this movie, because they wouldn't let him in. He just looked like
Damn.
he just
I-
wrote and was trying to bust in.
I wonder who the person it was that finally was like, where the fuck is the director?
Oh, he's fighting with some of the guards out there.
Shit, let's go get
But
him.
I wanted to make sure that we included that.
Fuck yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes.
yeah, that's
That's
sweet.
nice.
Cool.
Alright, so I believe we done it. Seems like we've done it.
We-
Does anything have anybody any last things to add?
No, we done it.
Alright.
Nope.
If you've been listening this long, thank you so much. Please like, comment, and share the video around. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Oh, it's that time. Does anybody got to sign off? I know I got to sign off.
You know I do.
Yo, mama. That's what I opened with. That's what I'm closing with.
That's a Yo Mama sandwich. All right. Honey, come on over here, Sugar Buns. The machine just called me an asshole.
Spooge, you got one?
Fucking don't trust the machines. They're trying to kill us all. Fucking, if you see a
Oh, it's
robot, you see
true.
that fucking cop robot buzzing around, take a sledgehammer to it.
Yeah, boy.
Sick.
Hey. And thank goodness for AIDS. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Well,